Welcome back to the Hooligans Pitch. It is October 25th, roughly 6:15 Central Time. I'm Michael, and back again. He's back from vacation. Did you have a good trip?
It was nice.
Yep.
Came back sick, so you know.
Yeah, that's no fun. That tends to happen. That,
it was cool. Got away from the hot weather that we've been having here, but came back to actually great weather here. So
nice. Okay. Well, it's been pouring rain here, so it's pretty wet, to be honest. Little chilly, but hey, that's Midwest for you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
no rain here yet.
Well, it's been quite the eventful 2 weeks of footy since we last spoke, which we didn't even really speak that weekend. When Liverpool took down City. Boy, was I riding high that weekend. Ooh, man, I was bouncing around the house. Kristen was like, I like this I was like, me too. I was like, it's like anything is possible.
That's it. I mean, I feel like that's kind of what we said going into that weekend, right? Is that Liverpool always shows up for City because they've just had that back and forth battle for years, so many seasons now. So if it was ever going to be the game where Liverpool looked like Liverpool, it had to be that game.
And what do you know? So I'm going to pop my beer to that. I'm having a Sudwork brew, very popular in Missouri for whatever reason that is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I bought this the other day, had half a can. I said, oh my God, what percentage is this? And I said, oh, it's 10. So ooh. I'm going to have one today because now we're feeling a little blue, and we'll talk about that later.
Fair enough. I'm just sticking with water, still on the recovered, but just lingering.
This is enough for like three of us right here, so I will happily have this for you. Let's just talk briefly about Manchester City and Liverpool that weekend, and then Arsenal going up 4 points. That was the best game Liverpool has played maybe in the last year.
I think probably.
Can you think of something better? Like I can't off the top of my head. We had a lot of disappointments kind of at the end of last season, with Champions League and just the way the Premier League ended. We had our 2 cup finals, which we won, which is great, but those were kind of like, I'm not saying it's not an accomplishment, but we were kind of expected to win those.
Yeah.
And then no game against City really stood out last year. A couple draws and it's just, this game set the tone right from the start. This game is crazy.
Oh yeah,
insane.
It was intense on both sides, but you could see this kind of just blind confidence that Liverpool had at the moment because they hadn't been playing well. So they shouldn't have had that kind of confidence, but just from the get go, it was they came to play. They were not going down without a fight.
Yep. Klopp with the red card. What'd you think of that?
I mean, to me, I get the red card for what he did, but that would not have happened had that foul on Salah on the wing been called.
That was terrible.
So, I don't know. Red, fine, whatever. But it just, if anything, that it probably just, added to the emotion and fight that Liverpool was putting on because you kind of stack the deck against a team and then it's us against them kind of vibe, and that seemed to work. So
I wouldn't want my coach to act any differently in that situation.
Oh, no way. Because it's not even that he was trying to argue for a foul that wasn't a foul. Salah's carrying Bernardo Silva.
Absolutely wild. And seeing Bernardo Silva try to stand up to Van Dijk was one of the funniest interactions I've seen in a long time too. Just the overall height difference and body mass difference. It just cracked me up, and I'm sure Virgil felt the same way. What are you really gonna do to me?
Yeah.
And I found that to be pretty funny. Another standout in that game was just I felt like Nunez doesn't understand when he needs to pass yet. Opportunity that game could have been 3-0. They really could have. So that's a little, I don't want to say concerning. I was just is he trying to be the man too much?
I think it's a little bit that, and maybe a little bit still getting used to the team in an actual game scenario.
Yeah.
in training and stuff, yeah, you can take the time to find the perfect pass because pressure's lower and it's the stakes aren't as high. But in game, especially on like a breakaway situation, sort of like that, like you got split seconds to make decisions. So I think it's he wants to be that guy. He wants to score the goals, and I think that would have been his first one at home.
Is that right? I want to say he got one previous, but you might be right. I think, did he get one in Champions League? It might have been his first Premier League.
Maybe, yeah, I might have done Champions League, but so I mean, yeah, if that's the case, or even if not, he's only got a few goals to his name so far, so it's like early goal in front of the home fans against a big opponent. Like,
for sure. He's playing great, though. I mean, I don't know if you saw the stat where he's like first in touches in the box, first with dribbles in the box. Like his statistics, his individual statistics look really good. So that's definitely a bright note moving forward. And he's still so young. The integrity on this team is fine. Oh, well, it was fine a week ago, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I'm just backtracking. That week, we're giving Becker Defensive Player of the Week. I mean, come on, how could you not?
Yeah.
Played amazing. His saves were incredible. His wrists are made of steel. And then every time the dude slips when he's doing a kick, it's going to be an assist, which is just hilarious.
I don't know how that works.
We'll take it. And then just to top it off, Jota with his injury at the 96th minute. That sucks. That sucked, man. And he's already had a kind of rocky year to start. Not like the best statistical year. And then so now we got Diaz and Jota out. It's just like, oh my God. So
yeah,
it's kind of rough.
Someone put an injury curse on Liverpool this season. I don't know.
It was probably Paul Pogba's brother and his witchcraft he's pulling down in Paris. And then just to backtrack a little more, I have Ivan Toney with Player of the Week as well. He led Brentford to a 3-0 victory, scoring 2 goals himself. He's just been kind of on fire lately too. He is, correct me if I'm wrong, top 5 in scoring in the Premier League.
I believe so.
I think he has. Oh man, I should know this. 6 or 7 goals to his name now. Does that sound right?
Ivan Toney.
8.
Well,
8.
Yeah, 8 at the moment. So maybe 6 or 7 at that time.
At that time, yeah. I mean, and Mitrovic too he's been on fire. But yeah, Tony.
He's back.
Oh man, he's playing good. We'll talk about him in a second. So yeah, that's pretty much all I really wanted to say about that week. Is there anything you want to bring up with Arsenal? From 2 weeks ago at this point?
That was the stressful Leeds game.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll kind of snowball into the game this week, but it was just one of those where it was just fight and survive and suffer and get your points and go home, and it's not a fun watch as a fan, but I've seen this Arsenal team in past seasons completely botch those. So,
well, let's segue that into this week's matches. You can start if you want to talk about your game.
I mean, yeah, it's just a little bit of the same thing. Like Southampton's been a little bit of a bogey team for Arsenal in recent seasons.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Huh, that's like your kryptonite?
Yeah, I think their last home win was against Arsenal last season.
Wow.
At the end of last season.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Something in Southampton doesn't click with Arsenal, just puts us off a little bit. I don't know. But, it was another, like, not stressful, but, like, a more frustrating watch. Just, Arsenal started so strong and had a lot of chances in that first half that easily could have put the game away there, but just couldn't really get the shot right. But second half, like, I don't know, Southampton they looked a little bit more up for it, I think.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think myself and then listen to like some other comments and stuff, and people are trying to say it's like fatigue related because there's been so many games lately and all this stuff, and it's like, I don't know if it's really fatigue. Like, yes, they've been playing a lot, but like the mistakes they were making were not so much. They didn't look like the sloppy passes that you would make when you're tired. Like it wasn't like the pass was short or soft or anything. It was just like they would just miss.
Yeah.
They would just miss the pass and or like miss the tackle or a few of the shots were just kind of didn't get a good connection with the ball. So
it looked like a lot of that, especially with Sokka, man.
Yeah.
Some of I was like, what a weird, either process of him thinking of where a pass would go or just not putting the power into certain passes. It did look odd, just as a neutral. I mean, the excuse of fatigue and stuff, you could say that at any point and be like, but to do it against Southampton, like that's not good. Like they're just where are they right now? They're at 12 points, 16th in the table.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's better to come away with 1 point than none. So
true that.
I'll take it, but I don't know. I mean, I could talk about the reffing in the game because every single time Gabriel Jesus gets the ball with his back on the defender, the guy's like bear hugging him, and it's not getting called, and like. It was a physical game, which is one way to put off a team, but like I think a little bit unfairly physical.
What do you think of the non PK call on Jesus?
I think it's a tough one because he is kind of all over him. I think maybe Gabriel maybe tries to sell it a little too much, which I think in that kind of like hurt him. But we saw, I think, one or two other very similar situations this weekend that were called as penalties, where it's like, guys are kind of arms all over and the attacker falls and it's a penalty. So it's like just another one of the inconsistencies. Like, I try not to worry too much about it because, like, really, if you score the goals you're supposed to score, like, you got to do all you can to negate the refs' decisions one way or the other, and Arsenal just didn't do it this week, but still top of the table, not a loss, just
City's creeping. They're creeping.
Yeah, and I'm just taking it game by game. I'm not trying to like be in May already and like we're gonna win the league and all this stuff.
There's a long way to go, and now that Liverpool at least put a little a wound in City to let them know that they are beatable. It's like at that point anything can happen.
Yeah.
So I guess we can segue this into Liverpool's game with Forest. Man, was I like so frustrated for 90 minutes, dude, to not put one goal in. Now, credit to Henderson because that dude is insane. But like, come on. With the hat. What is up with that, man? I know we commented on this before earlier in the season. There's just something. It must be those early morning games with Forrest because I think that's when he's wearing it, or early morning for us. Like mid afternoon there, but that's when he seems to wear it, and that's when he seems to be doing his best. So
maybe he's just a morning guy or like an early afternoon game guy. Like he just wants to get it done out of the way.
I've always been curious about how do you train for earlier games rather than it being in the evening, because your whole day changes, right? You got to get up maybe earlier. You have to eat earlier. You have to train earlier. I don't know. It's an interesting thought to think about, but I just want to give you some stats. Liverpool had 899 touches compared to Forest 427. Okay, that right there in itself is insane. Forest did have 7 shots on target, which just tells me that Joe Gomez wasn't as locked down as he was against City, where like the only shots they kind of got was with Haaland, and Liverpool put up 9 shots on target. So like, pretty even there, but the ball control was totally favored towards Liverpool.
Oh yeah,
and I just can't believe that not one shot went in.
And didn't Van Dijk have like 3 like clear-cut header chances?
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like this was such a fluke game. Yeah. I guarantee if those Forest kids were wearing City jerseys, though, we wouldn't be having this conversation. There's some different mentality of like focus, especially in the back line. man, when they're just clicking, they are so unstoppable. And like, how are you going to get through them? But it's a lapse of focus is all it takes.
I think it's always, dangerous when, regardless of how your team's been doing, you go and play, Nottingham Forest's last place. Like,
bro, they've only won one game besides Liverpool.
Yeah, so like it's got to be a hard thing to kind of get like mentally prepped for. Of like, all right, we got to go out and like still beat this team as we can, but they've won one game prior to this. Like it's going to be a walk in the park.
It was like West Ham week 2 when they sucked.
Oh wow,
1-0 against West Ham.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's just a mental thing, and I don't know, maybe they had a rough ride over to Forest that day or something.
Well, I'm wearing blue because that's how we felt after our match. Holy moly! Kristen was going to work, and I was watching the game in bed. And she was like, "How they looking?" I was like, "Terrible." She was plenty of time. And I was like, "You don't understand." I was like, yeah. So that was rough. And then, she was of course a little disappointed in Arsenal only getting the draw. But she was like, "A draw's a draw. Like we got a point." And I was like, "Yeah, but this draw feels like a loss." And then she was like, "Well, how'd your team do?" And I was like, "Whatever." Dude. Like, oh my god.
Man, you got to watch what you say now.
It's awful. It's awful. And she's like, I think she gets notifications on her phone. I don't know for sure, but like she knows what's going on. So I can't just like, I don't know, make up whatever I want. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. So hats off to Dean Henderson. He's my defensive player of last week because why not? So I'm going to find a picture of him in a hat. If you agree with that, I don't know if you have any.
No, he was... one of the ones that I had in mind, because him in a hat, just, I don't know. He gets extra power.
It's crazy. And like Becker played great. Alisson Becker played great against West Ham a couple of days prior. Mm-hmm. So this wasn't a goalie fault. Not in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It was just I don't even know what to say. It was a crap. We let that one in, and then we couldn't figure it out on the attack. So... ouch. That one hurt.
Yeah.
That one hurt quite a bit.
Yeah, be like that sometimes.
Should we talk about Aston Villa or should we talk about Leicester? Because both are kind of on the rise, which is mind-boggling because I don't know how long ago, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, we were calling for the firing of both managers, and then they both ended up with 4-0 victories within the last week.
Well,
wait, go ahead, take it away.
I mean, I was just going to say for Villa, I think we just saw how frustrated the players were under Gerrard. That once he goes, they get 3 goals in like 20 minutes or something.
Did he suck? Is that what that told us?
It's got to be something. Like that's such a wild change from going. Before that, they went lost 3-0 to Fulham. And then come back against Brentford and just ended up with 4, but scored 3 in, I don't know, 20 minutes, something like that.
Ings started, which shout outs to Ings. He is my offensive player of the week. 2 goals, one from the PK spot. But to Brentford's, I don't want to say credit, but if you noticed on their stat sheet, Ben Mee did not play. They gave they gave the old man some rest, which is much needed, but hey man, that guy is like the focal point of that back line. And he's has so many caps. If you don't have him in there, I'm not surprised this kind of fell apart. But damn, Aston Villa, man, they like, I don't know. Yeah. They came out saying
they were up by 3 at minute 14.
Whoa, so that's crazy.
Steven Gerrard sitting at home. I don't know that he got some bad juju or something, because they were, looking like they were struggling to score and do much in games, and then all of a sudden gates are open.
That's so bad. He's gonna have so much trouble finding a new job, because if they lose this game after they fire him, he can totally play that like, see, it wasn't me. But the fact they just 4-0, have they scored? Have they scored more than 2 goals in a game? This year, I'm going to bring up their fixtures here, but I don't recall.
No.
Have they scored more than one goal in a game? Besides the cup game, no. It looks like every game in here that I see in the last 3 months is one goal.
Yeah, so I don't know where Steven Gerrard goes from here, but I think his dream of being Liverpool manager is maybe a little bit further down the road than he expected.
Yeah, he'd have to come on board as something else, an assistant trainer, or yeah, I don't see that. I don't see he feels like a front office type of guy anyway. Be the guy who entices players to come in. You don't need to.
Okay.
Right. Be that guy who says, "Hey, this is a great club." I would love that actually for Gerrard if he came to Liverpool and said, "This is the club for you. Play with us for the rest of your career."
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be tactical because obviously it's not working out. So Emery coming in. Tell me a little bit about his. I don't know, the pros and cons of him, because you have some experience with that. And I really don't know much about him. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how it'll go. Like it's a little bit hard to judge him because he came into Arsenal directly after Arsene Wenger left. So like he was, it's already stacked against him.
Right.
Everyone was already in this kind of weird divide of like people wanted Wenger gone, people want him to stay, and then he ends up leaving and bringing Emery, who's if he can get them into Europe, they're winning Europa or whatever. But
now remind me, where did Emery come from previous to Arsenal?
I think before Arsenal,
was it Sevilla? Why is that's like
he's been at Sevilla. I think the last job before Arsenal was PSG, but I think that he had a break in between. Like PSG let him go, and I think he was just unemployed, and then Arsenal picked him up. And then after Arsenal, he went to Villarreal.
I'm fact checking you. You're nailing it right now.
Only because I've seen so many posts about it.
Okay.
So I'm reminded.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, but So at Arsenal, it's like I remember one of his first interviews. He was like, "I'd rather win a game 4-3 than 1-0." So he's very attack heavy, but almost to like a detriment, which is kind of how Arsenal were playing under him. It's just throw a lot of momentum forward, and if you outscore your opponent, you win. But you also do kind of need a more solid backline, which Arsenal didn't really have at the time, and I don't know. It's so hard to judge because, under Emery, I think Arsenal went on a 22-game unbeaten streak.
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
So So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I like the fit.
Yeah, I think Aston Villa have decent players. They have a pretty good squad overall. I think definitely better than where they at now. 15th. They should probably be closer to the 10, 11, 12 maybe, but
I think they'll pass Bournemouth. They'll pass Brentford. Brighton's on a downfall like no other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I can see them moving up the table. Top 8 maybe. I think if you set the goal for top 8 with them, that's a win for the season. Mm-hmm. But there's been so much movement in the table in the last 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. It's been kind of crazy. So yeah, I mean, that was an impressive win over the last weekend. And then Leicester, should we talk about them for just a minute? Because now what? Now they're going to start winning all these games and scoring all these goals. What a ridiculous team they have. I don't understand them one bit.
I think it might be that Brendan Rodgers realized that these people are not going to fire me. So fuck it. I guess we got to do our job now.
That's such a funny take because that's exactly what it looks like. He's like, I got to try now. And this is the first goal Vardy scored this season. Yeah. I don't know if you saw this, but he is the first player to score 100 goals in the Premier League after age 30.
Really?
I was so surprised by that stat. Wow. But I was but also, Leicester, when they won the league, that was 20 16, and he was 31 at that point. So like,
Okay.
that was like his breakout season. So I mean, he accumulated a lot of goals prior to then, but like, I would say every year besides this year and maybe a little bit of last year, he's been putting up, plenty of numbers. So just the first to do it, that's definitely surprising.
Yeah, that is surprising. I figured, I don't know who I would think of, but someone would have done it already.
Go back, Van Persie. I'm just trying to think of the Giants who have been there.
Yeah.
But also like not a lot of strikers play in the Premier League after 30. Like if you really look at it, we got Kane is, Kane's going to hit 30 this year. It's like his production level is so high in the last couple. Will it stay until he's 36 like Vardy? Probably not. So, I mean, that's a crazy stat for someone who's 36 years old and like done what he's done coming from, I think he was in Division 3. You might have to correct me if I'm wrong. Like Division 3, like 2012. So
something like that. Yeah.
He hasn't even been in the Premier League for that long. So crazy stat. That one stood out to me. But they demolished the Wolves, man. That was ugly.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's why I'm thinking that Brendan Rodgers just like decided to start working because the Leicester just looks different now. They look like they're an actual team that wants to play together and actually, score goals and hang on to leads. And I mean, I'm just gonna say right now, Yuri Teleman's goal this week is probably my
me
goal
too.
of the week.
That's what. Yeah, me too. That was pretty sweet. They also aren't starting Vardy, which I think is
probably smart.
Maybe he had to lose his position, but now they're starting Daka, and Daka's so good. I'm a huge fan of his. And James Maddison is kind of playing out of his mind too. So, I mean, I don't know a lot of teams full 11, but like especially the bottom half of the table, and I can like name Leicester's starting 11. So that's like that. You have quality players. If I can name your team, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like use them appropriately, and good things will probably happen. And as you saw in our fantasy pool, Leicester kind of like took over this week. Winning 4-0 with a clean sheet that helps. But I don't know, man. That's like, are we going to see this giant turnaround now from them? Like, it wouldn't surprise me.
Mean, I think they'll probably continue pretty well here. Like. I'm just trying to think of if they're going to lose much to the World Cup. I don't think they will. Like,
Maddison,
I don't know that Maddison will go.
Really? You don't think he'll make it?
I don't know. I don't remember hearing about him in the England squads coming up in past windows. Tielemans will go. Harvey Barnes won't go. Backline. I don't really know their backline now anymore.
They got fake Soyeon Chu face. He's from Germany. He won't go. Oh no, I'm sorry. He's Belgian. Excuse me. I got my flags mixed up. But no, I think you are right. I don't think they'll have a lot of players going to the World Cup, which is better for better for their squad. They do play City, Everton, and then West Ham. All before the cup starts. So they got a tough couple matches coming up.
Okay. Yeah.
Guaranteed wins out of those three. I wouldn't bet on any of those, to be honest. Everton would be the one, but like Everton's starting to click now. They're looking like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's all coming together.
I don't know why I'm an Everton homer, but like I really like what they're doing. They just whooped on Crystal. And then Crystal Palace, which they're on a downfall now, which is just like crazy because we started the season, they were on an uprise.
Yeah, they're kind of falling flat now. I've been surprised by their performances and results recently. They seem like they would be better. Like they have a lot of youth in their team and a lot of pace too. And I don't know, things are just not working for them.
Tottenham, Brighton, Crystal Palace. They're all on the downfall. And Leeds. Oh my God. Like I gotta get my buddy Zach on here. I think he's gonna join us. He's a huge Leeds fan. Cool. I think he like just Leeds lives rent free in his head. He's also on my Overwatch team. So like it's kind of like not all he talks about, but like it's sitting there like in his mind. He's like, God, like Leeds, they suck. And I was like, dude, like don't worry about it. Like focus on the game.
I mean, I'd like to hear, his thoughts, because it seems every time I see anything with Leeds, they start pretty well and almost sometimes play most of the game well, but just lose in these big moments, and then like that's that.
Yeah, disappointing considering I had them as my top 4, which is like the total dark horse, but they have lost 5 out of their last 6, which is crazy. Yeah. They started out so strong.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's always the talk of, some players maybe not performing at their max right now because they don't want to get injured before the World Cup. I don't know if that's playing any factor, but
yeah, I can definitely see that being a possibility, especially after seeing a couple players who just got injured and are now out for the World Cup. Like that's crazy. So that's definitely scary. Chelsea drew again, second week in a row against Man U. Which what do you think about that game? Because it was sloppy and a scrap fest, and neither team should walk away with a point. They should have both lost.
Yeah, like I watched the game, and like it was entertaining, but it felt like neither team should have really come away with anything. And all the like pundits on TV were like, "Oh yeah, it's this chess match between managers," and I was like, "I don't think it was really like
chess match."
Yeah, like because who's Graham Potter makes an early sub to bring in Kovacic, so then he's 4 at the back and 3 in the midfield. So it's like, okay, that's a good move. But then later on, Ten Hag brings on, I don't know, Fred or someone to kind of like beef up their midfield. And then Potter kind of reacted to that with some of his subs, and was like, chess match feels a little bit generous. It seemed more of like Potter realized it wasn't working early on, so he made an early sub, and then that worked, and both teams just kind of played. And then as time's going on, like you're kind of at that point where it's like, well, if we're not going to win, let's not lose. So you bring in Fred to kind of shore that up, or maybe give you a little bit of a more of attacking, or I guess more just like well-rounded, because I think he replaced Eriksson.
Yeah, he I'm just going to correct you there. He brought in Fred for Sancho.
Oh, okay, so then so you're dropping a winger for a midfielder. So I don't know. I wouldn't call it a chess match. I don't think it was like, it didn't feel so like tactically like, oh, like what are they doing? Okay, this is what we got to do now, and like looking where they can get one up on the other team. But I kind of feel bad for Kepa. He had a really good game.
Yeah, he did.
Good saves, and then
it's crazy.
That header just like he gets his hand to it. So I feel like he should have saved it. Like it's one of those like looping ones that's like behind him, but like I think he gets like most of his hand to it. So like does he just I think he just needed a stiffer hand.
It caught post too, right?
Because it hits his hand and kind of like rolls off of it. So I think his wrist just like and
now that you say that, it does send me like a little reminder in my brain that I feel like his wrists, he's been shot at and his wrists just like flop over. So I know there probably wasn't like as much power on the header that came off and messed up his wrist, but yeah, he probably was not expecting that much power off Casemiro. But again, it was one of those games where Chelsea just looked, we keep using this word, fine. Like they look fine. I think Manchester United has looked better than Chelsea the last couple of weeks. So for them to walk out with a draw is a huge win. Even though they probably maybe on paper should have won it. But Chelsea, man, they're just nothing impressive to me. Tottenham is even worse than them, which
I think Conte's days are numbered. Not because they're going to sack him, but because I think he's just getting tired.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. It's not a good club. Yeah. How are they top 3 right now is mind-boggling. Newcastle's going to pass them in a minute.
Yeah.
Newcastle's playing freaking fantastic. I'm so jealous of what that. And they're missing their two best attacking players, by the way. St. Maximin and Isaac haven't played basically at all together. They haven't played really in the last month.
Yeah, I don't understand exactly like what has happened at Newcastle. Like they get this influx of money, they buy, some key names, but like what?
Romero and Kulishevsky off the top of my head.
No, Newcastle, right?
Oh, you're talking. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was going to Tottenham. That's who they brought. But yeah, Newcastle. Who did they bring in that was new? I guess this year. Pope and Isaac to start. Pope might be the difference maker.
But it seems like there's enough players in that Newcastle team that were in that team prior to the takeover, and I get you've changed your coaching staff and stuff, so like training it might be better now and all that, but like they're just playing so much better, and it seems like the players they brought in somehow all have the aura of like I'm better and I'm making everyone around me better. And I don't know, maybe that's just good scouting and making the right signings, but they look impressive and
they don't look scared at all of anyone, which is why when they drew City, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I was like, this team's going to come in. They had one fluke loss, right?
I know I think they just drew to Bournemouth. I don't think they lost that one.
Yeah, you're right. They drew to Bournemouth, and then they've kind of just been just going down the line, just eliminating teams, whoever they play. And really, they shouldn't, like, I'm not going to really say that they shouldn't have beat Liverpool, but they probably should have drew Liverpool, like, if I was a neutral, like, honestly. So, I don't know. They're definitely the team to watch right now. It's pretty impressive what they're doing.
Yeah. But to jump back to Tottenham, it's like I've been peeking at the Spurs subreddit just to see what everyone's saying after the games and stuff.
What's it look like? I've never been. Is it a good place?
Good? I don't know. But good as a not Spurs fan. I think it's pretty good, yeah. But it is definitely the kind of the sentiment that had talked about in like previous weeks of like, yeah, we might be winning, but like I hate watching this team play because it's so boring. Like a lot of the comments are kind of that same sentiment of like, I want to play, the fast flowing attacking football that is so exciting to watch. Not this like park the bus and kind of strict counter with Kane and Son up top, and like that's kind of the whole game plan, right? Like
honestly,
it when a team can shut that down with a good press, like you get the games that they've been playing, like they don't look good. If Kane and not so much Son this season, but in the past, like if they are not as prolific of goal scorers and like accurate with their shots, like you're not scoring goals. Like there's no goals really coming from midfield because everyone sits back and it's more of a counter.
Højbjerg is their best player at doing that, but it's a rare occasion when it happens.
And even your wing backs, it's like they're not like a Trent or a João Cancelo where it's like they come in and shoot. They just go down the wing and cross it in. Like, I don't know. It's I'm okay to see them fall.
But they're top three, which is still just like, how did they get there? Very tidy 1-0 victories. I mean, Harry Kane has 10 goals on the season. He's second most goals scored. So he's doing. I don't want to say his job to his fullest, but he's doing what he's meant to do. He's putting the goals in the net. It's the rest of the team. I think top down, it just gets worse and worse and worse as you go.
Yeah.
So again, I'm all for it. I love it. I love how much they're dropping these games, and they'll just hopefully continue to drop them.
Did you see Colin Wilson's goal against them?
Yeah.
Hugo runs out and just
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. I guess he felt the need to come out to take care of the danger, and then realized it was going to be a little bit closer than he thought. So take a hit and hopefully get a foul. But like,
You don't bank on a foul though. Like that's
yeah.
that's crazy, dude. I question everything they're doing. So yeah, that does anything else stand out from this weekend for you? Because like again, it felt quiet when I was updating all the points for everything. There wasn't anything too crazy that stood out. West Ham made a PK for the first time in a bazillion years. It felt like because they've missed. They just keep missing PK. So when they stepped up at the 90th minute to take this PK yesterday, I was like, they missing it. I was like, I know it. It's gonna happen. And Ben Rama put it away. So I was like, okay, he's probably going to take the PKs from now on.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny. But I guess do you have anything to say off that?
I was just going to talk about Fulham looks like
That's what I was going to bring up too.
They're kind of cruising right now.
Is Mitrovic really fucking good?
I mean, look, what was
he is right?
Like 39 goals or something in championship last year. Like
he's what the heck, dude? Is this dude gonna get bought by some major club soon?
Yeah, last year in championship, in 44 matches, he scored 43 goals.
How do we not see this?
I don't know what happened though, because like we looked it up when he was in Premier League last time, and he scored like 2 or 3 goals.
It wasn't a lot. Yeah, it wasn't a lot, but he's getting fed. Willian got on the scoreboard this week. Did you see that? Yeah. But Mitrovic, man, I think he's gonna ride this wave into the World Cup, and like,
sure.
Oh man, he's gonna be must-watch like television at this point too, because he's such a jerk, and he just gets in your face, and he's bigger than you, and I love it and hate it at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you can only hope that he performs well at the World Cup, and I mean, he's 28. Like a bigger team could look at him. Like
I think someone will.
Like
what is the difference if you put this guy in Kane's position in the last 10 years? Same production level, in my opinion. He's with Fulham. I'm like, what has Fulham done in the last 10 years? Not saying Tottenham's done anything in the last 10 years, but the quality of players is significantly higher from one squad to the other. But yeah, I'm for it, man. I love what Fulham's doing.
I mean, yeah, they are kind of just I don't know, like quietly going about their business, right? Like,
yep,
they're just
getting it done.
And what they're where are they at?
They're top
7th
10
right now.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean,
this is what I thought Leeds was going to be at this point of the year.
I mean, yeah, they would have. They looked better at the start. Like they looked like they should have at least been, mid-table, not an 18th with 9 points. I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying watching Fulham. They kind of feel like maybe like the Wolves team of a few seasons ago, where they just kind of like go in, do their business, and no one really says anything until they play them and lose.
For real, then you go, holy shit, they were good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're fun. Mitrovic is a fun player to watch. I'm hoping, I'm like trying to decide as we go into the transfer window, and once we hit it in January, like what I'm really going to do with my team. I know you got a lot more work tonight than I do. But like, I think Mitrovic is going to find his way in there.
Yeah, I mean, I was throwing that around in my head. Like, I mean, obviously I got to get Holland in there, because if you don't have him, already going to be too far.
Are you really though? Is that like a good idea? If you're that far behind at this point, you have, because you just, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not envious of where you are right now.
It's just one of those where it's like, yeah, to make up points, it's probably not the smartest move, but it just negates the points that everyone else is going to get, because he's scoring so consistently and, often multiple goals per game. So it's like De Bruyne is just not cutting it. He can provide the assists and get the occasional goal, but like it's not enough.
Dude kind of had an off week and he still put in 2 goals. I watched a good chunk of that game and he didn't look like he was he didn't look it's hard to say he didn't look right, but like he didn't look as fresh as like previous games that I've watched. Mm-hmm. And of course they still rolled. So
yeah, I don't know. Mitrovic might find his way into my team. I don't know.
Who are your front 3 right now?
Gabriel Jesus, Kane, or Son, and
Salah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get Gabby from Arsenal onto my squad. I think that's definitely a goal of mine. I don't have a current Arsenal player in it, so I think that'll be kind of an easy transition in. I don't think I'm going to keep Mount in there for much longer. However, I don't know who else I'd put in from Chelsea because their whole back line is injured. I don't know if you saw that. Like, no one is playing for them right now besides Cucurella, and that's pretty much it out of people who have chosen Chelsea defenders. Koulibaly is injured. Fofana is injured. Reece James is injured. So, yeah, on a fantasy standpoint, I don't know what to do with Chelsea. Keep Mount and just because everyone else is. That's kind of like my thought process.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about him too. It's like, at least as he's performed so far, it seems like one that you can step away from. And, if you miss out on the 5-6 points for that week, then you're probably making it up somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Like, Aubameyang's not doing anything. Sterling's not doing anything.
Nothing. Both duds this weekend. Sterling was 0 and Aubameyang with I think he got like 1.5 because he got a dribble and maybe a shot on target. So just not a lot going on there. James Maddison might find his way onto my midfield though. That's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I like that. We're tracking him now. So. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I got to get a Leicester player in there since they seem to have woken up.
Right, man. So yeah, big week for Zach, most because of Tielemans. So that's pretty funny to be honest. My 2 coworkers are kicking butt in this pool. And then did you get my email about the World Cup? We're gonna get that thing rolling soon.
Yes, sir.
I'm super pumped about that. I was trying to go through my whole email list of how we did the Survivor World Cup. I think we did 2014 Survivor. Did we just pull a person's name and pick 2 teams? Like, do you remember how we orchestrated that?
I don't remember, but I mean, what your fairest way is like random name draw and then random team grab.
My idea for this one to make it, because I think we did do that way last time around, but I think we do if we get our 16 people, we have a hat with the bottom 16 teams and a hat with the top 16 teams.
Okay.
I hope I did that 8 years ago whenever we did it. But yeah. I don't think I did. I think I just did. Here's your name. I picked 2 teams. Those are your 2 teams. I like this way a little better because I don't want someone to get Germany and whoever else and like be like, oh, sick. I got 2 of the best teams. And someone's going to end up with Qatar and, X team. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but I'm going to throw Qatar under the bus. So yeah, I think that's the best way we'll do it. I already got 10 people. So yeah, we're almost there. So that should be fun. I mean, we're close, man. We're a month away. Well,
it's coming up real quick.
It's real quick. So we got 3 more games of Premier League. We have 1 Caribou Cup game. So 4 total in the next 3 weeks. November 12th should be the last day of English football. And then we dive straight into the World Cup. I will be heading to Kansas City that first weekend. We're going to go try to find an AO bar in Kansas City to watch United States play England. So with that said, I might have you kind of take over points and stuff if you're around that first couple days. We're coming back to Missouri midweek, and then we can kind of like, split the process or whatever. I think this will be easier than the stats we do in Premier League. Like there should be less games per day, 3 games per day. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that should be pretty easy to keep up with. But yeah, I'm excited. I want to try to fill up this pool. No one has really. All right, that's not true. A couple people have responded. Family, friends saying like, yeah, we're totally in, but like you have to explain this, like what we have to do. So I don't know if they realize like the amount of work that might go into it and like the player knowledge that you kind of need to have. But yeah, that should be fun. I think World Cup always brings out a fun crowd.
It's the time when everyone is a soccer fan, right? Like, it's like me with a lot of other sports. I don't really watch a lot of other sports until like the games matter and in playoffs and stuff, where it's like it feels like there's more on the line than just a regular season game. So
it's gonna be fun.
Tournament's big and exciting, and especially once you get the knockouts and it's like real pressure is on. And
so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make some stickers. I'm gonna make some hooligan pitch stickers with the QR code. And I'm going to start taking these stickers and just putting them on like bathroom stalls or just like just random little places. So I'm going to send you a stack, just like, throw them down at UOB or something. Just like, just random, like, who knows, man, this is how we get traffic to our site. This is how we get people to sign up. And then we'll go from there. Cause I like it. I'm super stoked. I just want to make this, I want to get at least like 20 people. I think if we can get everyone from our Premier League in, which I think is a solid chance that happens, and then a couple extras here and there, like we're set. Should be fun.
Yeah, I think we can do it.
Yeah, I think
20's
so
not
too.
too much.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think the last World Cup had somewhere around that amount, and then the one previous to that, I think Theo got like 25 or something in there.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is the first one we're doing, but I think we're setting the right pace for ourselves. Is there anything else you want to talk about, bring up footy wise, your life, anything going on that's awesome or crazy?
I'm getting an Arsenal shirt delivered today.
Oh, snap. Which one?
It's a long sleeve, like retro one.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm excited for that, but
nice. Okay.
Beyond that, I guess we'll sprinkle in a little Sac Republic update.
Oh, please do. Yeah, what's going on?
They just had their first playoff game this last weekend against New Mexico. Maybe got a little lucky on the win because Sac started real sloppy and had 2 or 3 giveaways at the top of the box.
That is not what Instagram told me.
No, not at all. But second half, they look like light years better and ended up winning 2-0. So they go on to play Colorado this coming weekend.
Who's Colorado's team?
Switchbacks.
Is that Colorado Springs?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so see how it goes. I mean, technically Colorado is placed higher in the table, so... Are
they playing in Colorado? Mm-hmm. Oh man, that altitude's gonna be shocking.
Yeah, so hopefully get through that and then play the winner of San Antonio and Oakland Roots.
Oh, nice, Oakland Roots. Okay.
So yeah, if Oakland Roots can pull out the win and Sac pulls out the win, Sac would host that next game. So that's the dream. But we'll see.
So they're in quarters right now.
Mm-hmm,
8.
yeah.
Okay. And then if Sac makes it to the finals, where does that put us?
I don't know how they decide.
Okay.
Because you just meet the East, right? And then so I don't know if they decide based on season standing of who gets home field advantage and stuff. Which I don't know. We got games to go before that. But.
Do they have a TBD on that final date? Because are we going to be traveling again?
Oh no! Let's see.
We can make it happen.
So final will be November 13th. at 8:30. But
Is
I
that
mean, I
at
don't.
8:30? That's so. I guess it could be East Coast, right? It could be West Coast. It could be
Yeah,
Central.
yes.
Boy, if they do it in Kansas City, that would be amazing. There's no location yet.
No, because I think it goes off of the two teams. So I think it's probably the higher seed that makes it.
Oh, they're gonna make a home team.
Yeah, I think so. So,
So would it be San Antonio?
I mean, if they
they
make
win?
it on our side, yeah, and otherwise, I mean, you got Louisville's number 1 for them. Pittsburgh is 5, so
Pittsburgh, PA.
yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, you got Memphis is.
Oh, Memphis. If Memphis happens, that's 4 hours away.
Well, there you go. You can be the one and only Sac fan out there.
That'd be awesome. I would totally do that. We were actually trying to go to Memphis the week after for World Cup, but we did I think we're leaning toward Kansas City. It's a little closer. But like if we have to go to Memphis the week prior, I won't be upset about that. So
yeah. So I mean, I guess keep it, good thoughts in, and hopefully we can get there. But
it's hard to watch any of those games. So if you ever find a stream or something, let me know because I look for them and they're not the greatest quality. So
yeah,
that's kind of where I stand.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, I guess I got nothing crazy going on too much. The movie The Innocents uploaded on Plex. Go watch 5 minutes of it and just look at the jersey the little girl's wearing because it made me really happy. That's all I gotta say. I was like, oh, look at that. And I'm actually trying to find that jersey. I think I can actually buy it at the store. So I might get that one because I was like, oh yeah, that's a sweet one. All right. Well, that's all I got. We got Champions League this week. We have no matches on Friday. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just Saturday and Sunday.
I believe so. Yeah, lots on Saturday.
Yeah, a lot on Saturday. We might be doing a little weekend getaway. We couldn't get away this weekend for an anniversary.
Fair. I can pick up the pieces this week. So.
That's cool. We're going to maybe go to the Ozark, hang out there. Just Saturday and Sunday. Quick trip. But actually, the Leeds Liverpool game's later in the afternoon, so we might catch that one. And then we'll be back Sunday night. So I assume we'll be around Sunday to chit chat, get back to our Sunday ritual, and get back on track here.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Chad, it's been real.
As always,
Hooligan's pitch. We're out.
Peace.
Take care.